All right, in Georgia, we're seeing the culmination of what's been a record-setting primary season when it comes to fundraising, and several races there are set to likely result in potential runoffs. CBS News correspondent Skyler Henry joins us now from Atlanta this morning. So, Skyler, bring us up to speed there on the race for governor and why there's already talk of a potential runoff.
Well, no AC out here.
I see it.
In terms of runoffs,
bacon.
in terms of runoffs, that really will happen if no candidate gets more than 50% of the vote. And based off of what we are seeing from certain polling, especially in the race for governor, where we have Rick Jackson, the billionaire, going up against the Trump-endorsed candidate, the current Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, that appears as if that could certainly be the case. Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, however, who is also running for governor, has something to say about that. In fact, we are just outside of the Fulton County Elections Hub, where he is expected to show up in the next hour or so to talk about how the elections are going in his Secretary of State capacity. It is also notable here that just a few months ago, there was an FBI raid at this location as the Trump administration continues to raise concerns about the ballot access and tabulation that we saw in 2020. Of course, that is something that has been disproven by not only the Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, but also the Republican Governor Brian Kemp as well. So certainly some things to be interesting to pay attention to as we look forward throughout the day today. On the Democratic side, the former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms is widely viewed as the front runner in that race, though there has been some skepticism in terms of from voters that we have spoken with, some of whom expressed their concerns about her not wanting to run for a second term as mayor here, saying that if she didn't want to do that, then why should we trust her to run for governor? Still, however, widely viewed as the front runner in that race. There are some other notable names also running for the Democratic side of this thing, including the former Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, who switched and is now a Democrat. He is touting himself as someone who knows how to win state races, but also someone who can go toe-to-toe with President Trump, bringing back the aforementioned controversy surrounding the 2020 election results altogether. So it should be interesting to see what happens in both of those races, certainly as we look forward to the end of the night.
And I guess those are the two big themes we're seeing, Skyler, which is, do any critics, Republican critics of the president, fare well during these races? And do Democrats have midterm momentum? What are some of the other big races you're watching?
That is a great point, Errol. We know that the incumbent in the Senate race, Jon Ossoff, is running unopposed in that race. But where it gets interesting is the Senate race in terms of the Republican primary. It's a three-headed race right now. What we have are two members of Congress, Buddy Carter and Mike Collins, both of whom have touted themselves as MAGA warriors and touted their conservative agenda. They're sort of duking it out, but sitting outside of that is somewhat of a newcomer. His name is Derek Dooley, the former Tennessee volunteer football coach who has the support of Brian Kemp, the governor here, someone who we thought was running for Senate but decided not to run in that race. They have essentially been walking in lockstep all throughout the state, talking about saying that it is an outsider that is needed to not only be representing Georgia come the opportunity in D.C., but also someone who can beat Jon Ossoff in November. So I think it'll be interesting to see what the outsider Dooley has to say and what the results look like for him when polls close here at 7 p.m. Something else that we are paying attention to is what happens in the state Supreme Court's race. It is a bit of a proxy war, so to speak, in terms of a range of issues, Errol and Chanel. Everything from redistricting, which we know the governor is calling a special session for next month, to reproductive rights and another, a range of issues that they will be talking about over the course of the next several months. Republicans say that they are making a nonpartisan race partisan. The Democrats are, in terms of some of the policies and perspectives and advertising that has gone out there. We have heard from Vice President Kamala Harris, former President Barack Obama, all of whom have weighed into the significance of that race in particular. So I think that'll be something else interesting that we are paying attention to. But I really do think what happens in that Senate race will also be incredibly interesting. Will it be one of those Trump-supported picks that Buddy Carter or Mike Collins, or will it be that outsider Derek Dooley? I think that will be something to look out for tonight as well.
Right. Okay. Great analysis from Skyler. In the heat, get this man's some air
taken one
conditioning,
for the
ladies and
team.
gentlemen. We appreciate your reporting, Skyler. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Skyler.